I believe Tony would be a better prospect to answer it. So let's say we've got underage boys making these deepfakes and circulating around them. How do we create regulation around it? Um, because if you're impersonating someone or you're leaking their information, if it leads to, let's say, financial or physical or personal fraud, so do you categorize it as a juvenile offense, or it's an adult category, or maybe that is the current challenge that we have? So if I bring my question to Tony, how would you answer it?
Yeah, well, one of the things that to bear in mind, this is already illegal. In most countries, it's already illegal to falsify something, try to trick somebody, try to commit a fraud, try to manipulate data to commit fraud or to extract money in particular or property out of it. That generally speaking is already illegal, and whether or not that law applies to children does depend on where you are. So you have in most countries you have what's called an age of criminal responsibility, which here in the UK is 10. In Scotland, it's 14. In different parts of the world, it's different ages. So it just depends on where you are. One of the difficulties, though, is that there are some things that people are doing that are not about actually extracting money or committing fraud, but just to cause harm and distress. And so, deepfake. We've had Taylor Swift with deepfake pornography in the news very recently, and yes, that was about actually getting money because they were trying to get views onto their site, so therefore build up their money that we're getting through from those views. But where that's not somebody who's famous, and you're not going to get those views, it's just about causing, personal alarm and distress to deepfake. One of your, an ex-girlfriend or somebody that that you just want to upset, you deepfake pornography of them, and the problem with that is often isn't illegal in most parts of the world. It is very soon going to become illegal here in the UK and in various other bits of the world. But it's that's one that does need tackling through some regulation. Whether or not when regulation, we'll probably come to talk a bit more about regulation, but whether or not you have regulation, that doesn't solve the problem. The regulation is the stick to be able to deal with somebody who you catch as an offender. It doesn't stop them offending unless it's very, very draconian regulation. Generally speaking, people don't murder each other because they know they're going to go to the prison for the rest of their lives at the very least, if not face death penalties themselves. But people will very often travel at more than the speed limit when they're driving their car because they know the chances of getting caught are pretty slim. And even if they did get caught, they're going to get a penalty notice or some sort of enforced training, depending on where you are. So for the regulations to be, that effective, they have to be very, very draconian to stop people from doing them. So actually what you need is technological solutions. You need the battle needs to be between the AIs for the good and the AIs for the bad.
Yeah.